Good morning, friends. Sean here, and I wanted to take a moment to make a tutorial for beginners with this lovely puzzle game, Wordle. Wordle has been growing in popularity lately and has been in the media, including the New York Times. I think this is great. I love to see this community grow and to see more people challenge themselves with this very fun daily word game and logic puzzle. This puzzle is available online at powerlanguage.co.uk/Wordle. That link is in the video description down below. There you will find a new puzzle every day. The puzzle resets at midnight regardless of whatever time zone you are in around the world. My name is Sean, and this is Sean Plays, a channel all about Wordle. I post videos here every day where you can see me as I walk through the puzzles and show you my logic and discuss what I'm thinking. I'm not necessarily the best, but at least you can see my thought process. If you like this content, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. But for now, let's get into this puzzle. Wordle is a game all about 5-letter words. You need to discover what the 5-letter word answer is, and you do so by guessing other 5-letter words. The game gives you feedback around what letters that you have entered in 3 different colors, each of which we will cover as we move forward. To get started, you simply pick a 5-letter word and submit your guess. Your guess must be a real 5-letter word in English. You cannot create a nonsense word like A-E-I-O-U. For your first guess, here are some tips. You might want to include at least 2 vowels, if not 3. You want to make sure that this first word uses the more common letters in English, such as S and R. Using what I call the Wheel of Fortune letters, R, S, T, L, N, E, plus the vowels A and I is a really good place to start. If you want to learn about what the best possible starting word is, I know that's a question a lot of people ask, I do have a video on the mathematically optimal strategy. So go and check that out. It's pretty interesting. For now, we're going to start this puzzle using the word dairy as our first guess. Now, the answer to this puzzle is slump, and we will continue to use slump as the example for the rest of this, as that is the daily word puzzle, and it's easiest just to work around that. So I have my answers here picked out, customized to show you different things in Wordle as it relates to slump being the actual answer. So, dairy, not a bad word. It's got A, I, and Y is sometimes a vowel. We have R and D, which are fairly common letters. So let's guess that. And what we see here is that all of these letters have turned gray. So gray means that these letters are not in the puzzle. Now, I know that seems a little defeating, but this is a lot of information. We've actually narrowed this down significantly. There are a lot of words in the English language that use one of these letters at somewhere in the word. One 5-letter word, I should be specific. One 5-letter word in the English language that uses at least one of these letters in it. So while this is a little defeating, it doesn't get you any closer to knowing what the word is. It does rule out a whole lot of words. Now, our next guess, I'm going to use the word fussy to show you a couple of things here. So, fussy has 2 yellows. What yellow means is that those letters are in the word, but they're in a different position. So, the U can be anywhere but the second position. And I think it's really important to note here that the S, the first S comes back yellow, the second S comes back gray. So that means we actually gain a lot more information than this looks like. There is an S in the puzzle. We gain that from the yellow. It is not in the third position. We gain that from the middle yellow S as well. What that fourth letter, that second S, tells us is that there is not a second S in the puzzle. So if this answer was something like stars, where the S would be, there's 2 S's that are not in either of those positions, this would actually have 2 yellows to show us that there are 2 yellows somewhere else in the puzzle. It also means that S, that the third space is telling us that S is somewhere else. It can't be in that 4th position. So we actually gain a lot of information by doing that double S there and getting a yellow and a gray. So we know there's exactly 1 S, and it cannot be in the 3rd or 4th position. Now, our next guess is going to be the word strum. And I did this to show you the green. So green means that you have chosen the right letter and it's in the right location. So this word begins with S, and there is not an S anywhere else in the puzzle. We know that because of the previous guess. We also learned that there's an M in the puzzle, and that U does not go in the fourth position. So what we know about this puzzle so far is that it starts with an S, and it contains the letters U and M somewhere in it. U is not the second or fourth. So I guess the next good guess would be something like SMU, if you come up with a word there. I didn't actually come up with a word for this one. But you can see here that what will work out, once you guess slump, it'll turn it all green and end the puzzle. So you're no longer playing. It'll show you how you did. The goal is to get this in as few guesses as possible. You see here we got this in 4, which is pretty good. My goal is generally to get the puzzle in 4. My best so far is 2. I've been doing this, streaming these online for a week now. My best so far is 2. My worst is 5. But 4 is a really, really good target. So yeah, once these all turn green and show you that you've gotten all in the right position, that's where the puzzle ends. And now you know the answer to the puzzle is indeed slump. Now let's move over here to a blank puzzle. And I'll show you some tips here. So it's tempting when you get a letter locked in. For example, when you play story, it's really tempting to think, okay, this word begins with the letter S. It's very tempting to continue guessing words along those lines and to lock that in as you guess more and more. What this turns out to be is you're actually losing opportunity for information when you do this. Each guess that you have subsequently, you only have 5 letters to play with. That means that S, by locking it in, you're losing 20% of your feedback that you get. So it's certainly possible to move forward and get the puzzle using that, but it's not going to be optimal because you're not using that first space to its full advantage. It's definitely useful to get the information in the first one, but the S's in the second, third, and fourth guesses gave us no new information. Instead, what you want to do is end up using that first guess. Once you learn that S is there, you can actually ignore it altogether until you're ready to make your final guess, until you're fairly certain what the puzzle's answer is, because that answer, as we see here with the next guess, that first space can really give you a lot of information. Now, I know there's an M. I know there's a U and S in the first place, U in the third place. I know there's an M somewhere in there, but I really want to figure out what else is in there. So I don't need to include that M. This U is actually superfluous too. I know this isn't going to be the right answer, so if you can come up with a different word, plick, plock, those are just as useful as the guess of pluck. But now what we see here, by doing this, we've actually gained all of our new information by that first space. That M and P came about by not reusing that S. So now we can read through that and just say, okay, this puzzle has S, M, P, L, U. This absolutely must be slump. So yeah, don't back yourself into a corner by thinking that you have to maintain using those letters once you figure them out. That's actually, if you come up here, that's a version called hard mode, that any revealed hints must be used in subsequent guesses. So if you do back yourself into a corner by thinking that you have to repeat those over again, you're kind of enforcing hard mode on yourself. Definitely use all of those positions as much as possible. My favorite thing to do is my second guess almost never has any of the letters from the first guess in it, because I want to gain as much information for those first 10 letters that you're guessing, as much information as possible. Now, if you learn of an early letter that comes up yellow early on, One option is to move that letter to new spots in future guesses while still guessing new letters. For example, I want to figure out where this S goes, but I don't want to reuse B, O, or N. So my next guess is actually just going to move the S one letter over. And in the process, I'm learning new letters by guessing different letters than I already have. So now I have the P and the U. I want to figure out where this S goes. I want to figure out where the U goes, and I'll come back to that P. So my next guess is going to just use two U's to figure it out. And guess what? We've basically narrowed this down, so we know exactly where this S goes. It can't go in the second, third, or fourth position because that's been yellowed out. It can't go in the third because that's a U. So this must begin with an S. We've figured out where that U goes. We now know that the puzzle uses an L and a P, so it's, I think the only option there is slump. But if you're not able to fully narrow it down and you want to really guess that, let's start here and continue the same thing and say, oh, maybe this might have a T in it. You're not sure what the final one. You're not able to pull out that M. So move that P over, move that S over, make sure that you have that right, test that T, and let's guess the one spilt. Again, I'm not sure if the last guess after usual, if you'd be able to figure out exactly where all those go. But now, in that next guess, we've definitely nailed down that starts with an S. That P can't be in the second position. You know now that the L has to be in the second position. So S, L can't go anywhere else. We've already knocked down the U. There's no word that starts with slup, so this must be slup. And that's the goal here, is to get to a point where you just know 100%, where you're not guessing in those final ones between 5 and 6. If you end up down in 5 and 6, you should have 100% certainty on that final guess that you know exactly what it is, because you've ruled out a lot of other options. That's all I got for you right now. I hope this helps. I post my daily Wordle videos here so that you can see how I solve the puzzle. Try it out for yourself and then come see how I did. I love to hear how quickly my viewers solve the puzzle. And if you want to learn about what the best word possible is, remember I do have that video, and that link will pop up in the top left of your screen at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe. It really does help significantly. And then share the video with anyone you think would enjoy some daily word puzzles. That's it, and we'll see you all tomorrow.